ambition and leave a good tip. Solitary city man, eliminate your shadow. Is it out front or out the back? You only sleep alone 'cause you will it so. The stalwall just told you so. But you sat there, defending solitude in your special way, with a pretense to educate, like a cartoon. Either way, tired you would be home soon to sleep it off. And if the city is a jungle, that's a pretty funny looking jungle.
So hey, this is Puddy here with the New Wax Show, and today we are going to be talking to Low Hanging Lights. I've got Alex, Ian, and Aaron on the phone. How you guys doing?
One love. Fantastic. Just great.
Yeah, beautiful. Are you guys in a jam session right now, actually?
Well, I don't know what Ian's got some sort of instrument. Play a little something, Ian. This is kind of how the creative process works for us.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that, but basically it's a thumb piano and what do you call that again? Auto harp. It's an auto harp and a thumb piano. So basically we try and write all our songs on auto harp and thumb piano, and then we translate it to traditional rock band arrangements. Slightly larger instruments.
Okay. Yeah, so that's actually good. Like, describe yourself for New Wax listeners if some of our listeners haven't heard of you guys before. Who are you and what are you guys about?
We are Low Hanging Lights, and we are general laborers of love. And we're just here to spread the good gospel, in that you don't have to do what you don't want to do in life. You can do whatever you want, and we're missionaries for that cause. Through the power of song.
So does that have to do with like you guys' band's interests? I was all up on your Facebook, and I was looking at your band's interests on your Facebook page, and it said that you guys are about true love, compassion, tolerance, reform, and debauchery.
That's a short list of things, yeah.
Yeah.
That and so much more, but yes.
Yeah, you explain that. You go from true love.
One too. Yeah.
Yeah, you go from true love to debauchery. What's that all about?
Well, we like the yin and the yang and the black and the white and the ups and the downs, you know what I mean?
All right. So, I understand that you guys hail from a small town in Ontario, Paris, right?
Yeah, Alex and I do, and we don't actually... Aaron, what town do you live in again? Somewhere by Barrie, right?
I'm from like parts unknown. Yeah. Up in the
Muskoka County. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, Ian and I are both from Paris, Ontario.
Yeah.
And Aaron, we believe Aaron is from somewhere near Barrie, but we're not quite sure.
We've never been to his house before.
So how did you guys end up linking up then? Because if two of you are from Paris and the other one, you know, Aaron's from somewhere in Barrie, Ontario, how did you guys end up?
It actually had a lot to do with it had a lot to do with my mom, to be honest with you. Alex, why don't you field this question?
Sure. So essentially what happened is I put out a solo album in 2010, and I got an article written in the Paris Star, which is the little local newspaper back home.
Yeah.
And Ian's mom, who still resides in Paris, Ontario, with his father, they live in the same house, they're still married. She read the article, and she recognized me because Ian and I played on the same baseball team growing up. So basically she read about my exploits as an aspiring musician in Toronto, and she called Ian up on the phone and said, "Hey, do you remember that nice boy Alex Grantham? He was a bit podgy, but he's kind of an odd fellow, but he's, you know, talented."
Yeah.
And she said, "Why don't you go play your guitar with Alex? Because he likes to play guitar, and it'll be so cute for you guys to play guitar." So basically, like, you know, we just had to after Ian saw Massive Tooth. So she made us cookies and
she
stuff.
set up like a play date for them, and yeah. And then from there, we had a couple different drummers, And Aaron probably joined the band like 2 years ago this month, I'd say. I think he joined around July, didn't you?
Yeah, it would have been just around the summertime.
Yeah. So we've been kind of doing this lineup for a bit. We were a 4-piece until about last June, so we've been doing the 3-piece for about a year and a bit now, and we're loving it. We're working together as a unit.
Beautiful. So how do you guys think, since you guys all are from small towns, how do you think that has affect your music? Does that have any influence on like who you're influenced by or what you guys talk about in your music?
Well, I guess like from what I take is the first little bit of the band was somewhat inspired by that because Alex wrote some of the songs from while he was living in Paris at the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then basically from there he moved to the city, so I think a lot of the songs have to do with that experience as well, but also too it's like the kind of like your background and then as well as experiencing the city, stuff like that, because obviously, you're influenced by your environment.
Yeah, because I noticed that, and I was checking out the video for Solitary City Man Death.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, no, I was watching the video last night, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, well, it seems like all these guys come from different parts of Ontario, and now they all kind of amalgamated in Toronto, and that seemed to be like a reflection of what you guys are experiencing in Toronto. Am I correct?
I would say so. Mm-hmm. I think that very much so basically sums up what I said there. That song seems to be like on the bridge of when the songs were, I guess, not written in a small town and when they were kind of written in the city at that point. So Alex has probably better insight into that song though. So.
Yeah, trying to remember exactly what I wrote that song maybe a couple of years ago now, and whenever I write a song, I honestly kind of like forget about what I was writing about, to be honest with you. After I put it out,
kind of like you get it all out, and then it's like, ooh. Well, with that track, it's on the new or the EP that we just put out, but we have a bunch of new songs that we're kind of moving on to. Anyway, it seems to be like some type of like conflict between one side and another side and kind of coming to the city and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or, it could be about that, or it could just be a basic observation of what is happening in the city and stuff too. If you see the video, there's a lot of imagery of the city itself, and it's kind of the experience in it wrapped up, so hopefully people can relate to it in that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, actually when I started writing that song, I started writing it in the first person perspective, so like, everything, like, the way the song is now, it's directed at you, I think, but when I wrote it, it was all I hum the ballads of the hurtin' hills, reconciling all I love but must kill, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of wrote it about myself at that current point in time, and I probably felt like I was probably just kind of like drifting and not doing much.
Yeah.
But I changed it. I changed it because I think number one, I tend to always default to writing like first-person songs, and sometimes I do that too much, so I tried to change the perspective, but also it became a bit of a commentary on sort of like Bay Street types and that kind of thing, these sort of like really just, I don't even know how to describe them, but I can't identify them with all these like dudes running around in suits like down Bay Street, investment bankers or whatever, with the Bluetooth in their ear, and they're so caught up in like kind of the pursuit of status and wealth and all that shit, like stuff I've never identified with, and I think it's just hilarious,
Yeah, because in the video, that was the whole video. It was like you guys running around with the briefcases. You're kind of making fun of.
To me, the thing that makes it so funny is these people take themselves so seriously.
Yeah.
Like, so seriously, and it's like they've never. I think it's because honestly, they probably were raised with a very, very narrow world perspective, and they probably haven't experienced much in life. I'm thinking they probably, they were raised to believe one thing: you go to school, you graduate, you go straight into post-secondary school, you get your education, you get your job, and then you start chasing the car, the attractive wife, and the promotions, and you screw everybody else over, and the condo or whatever like that. And like it's kind of like that American Psycho thing.
Yeah.
I never got it though, but I was also like raised by two theater folks, so like I'm just. I'm obviously stupid, like, I'm predisposed to be an artsy romantic idiot.
Yeah, no, for sure. But and then I saw that was also, were you guys trying to take sort of that mocking, that Bay Street sort of suits, like men's with briefcase and suit. And I saw you guys were playing at the press club the other day.
Yeah.
And you guys went dressed up in suits on the stage, right?
Yeah, it was our EP release actually for the Insulated Picnic Bag EP, and that song's on it. So we just thought we'd get in character and dress up, reprise our roles that we played in the music video.
Yeah, no, it was pretty brilliant actually.
And I guess the thing too that it's kind of funny is that the fact that like we got up and played on stage, we played a really great show in suits. So like we're knocking people with suits, but when we rock suits, man, like you kill it. You know what I mean? We were all business that night.
Any fun whatsoever. It was all great business.
Yeah, yeah.
We were on the corporate dime at that point, so it's like when the the big numbers come down from the top cheese.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta get cracking on that. That's all nighters at the office, and it's like.
Oh yeah, you gotta be beware of the top cheese, right?
You know what? We were at the strip club till like 5 a.m. snorting 8 balls and shit like that.
Yeah.
We just rolled into that show and did our best, but.
Yeah.
I'm
So.
just joking.
So you guys have been getting a good response in Toronto, because I know the music scene here is pretty heavy, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
It kind of depends on when you play. Like sometimes we'll play a Tuesday show and like no one will be out, and it's a bit soul sucking or whatever. But
yeah, we go up and play like a great show, and then like there's nobody there.
Yeah,
So
actually, that kind of reminds me.
Paying your dues, as they say.
That's what happens with it, stuff like that. And on a show like we played at the press club, it worked out pretty well. So us two there. So, and the thing is, you start seeing people who actually just like the band coming out and stuff like that too, which is good. But so yeah, we're still building, of course.
Okay, cool.
Actually, the funniest response, the toughest show we ever played was actually not in Toronto. It was in Picton, Ontario.
Really?
Yeah, and we played a luge festival.
A luge festival?
Yeah, you heard me right, luge festival. So like Luge luge.
Okay.
Festival. And if I told you the whole story, it'd probably go on for like 20 minutes. But essentially, what it boiled down to is we knew very little about this festival, and it was very hard to contact the people when we got there. So we were asking all the locals where this community center was, because we were supposed to play this community center for these luges, and having this spaghetti dinner.
They don't like luge.
Yeah. And so we finally found the community center, and it's like all these middle-aged people eating spaghetti, and like this noise rock band is coming on to like play in Picton, Ontario, which is really weird. And basically, as soon as we started playing, the whole community center started emptying out. So we played to essentially, there was like a group, one table of luges playing solitaire. We weren't as interesting as solitaire that night. And then there was like Ian's family were there too, and they were like showing their support. But that was pretty much it. And like the funniest thing was that we were like during our last song, our big last song, like the janitor, like Joe the janitor, was like walking in front of us and folding up tables and chairs.
Yeah, the townspeople were all helping too. Everybody was pulling them, and they like pushed them all to the side immediately.
Yeah.
And then by the time we hit the last chord, everybody had actually cleared out. It was just us.
Yeah. And we're playing our like really bizarre style of like noise rock in the community center in Picton, Ontario, for a bunch of losers.
Yeah.
And and Joe the janitor is like folding up chairs in front of us while I'm screaming my face off.
That is.
Making me getting spaghetti.
That sounds like one of the most random concerts I've ever heard of in my life. So I know I've talked to Alex before this interview, and he's told me that your stage antics and specifically your jam sessions are quite interesting. You want to describe a jam session with Low Hanging Lights?
Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so generally I think how it all begins is we kind of sit down and we all kind of remember who plays what. Like sometimes I think I'm playing bass, and then Ian sits down on the kit and starts wailing away, and and then we realize that that's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So after that kind of settles,
Alex is like,
yeah,
like, hey,
hey, you guys are
play your normal instrument.
yeah. So then after that, I think we kind of, if someone has an idea, we kind of begin and see where that goes. I mean,
okay.
And we like to try and see kind of where everything will go. I think that's important, is you don't just shoot down the first idea that Ian comes up with. And I say that specifically because generally he catches me like right off guard. He'll be like, I wrote this song about a ham sandwich, and he'll just start playing, and it's like, okay, I think I see where he's going with that, and we kind of mess around with that a little bit. So it's a lot of our, I guess, songs in their very beginning, early stages, off the cuff, like just starting with something and kind of going similar to like what we're doing with the finger piano and the auto harp and.
Yeah, because you guys seem very experimental, yeah?
Right. I think that's a really important element, and I don't know. I almost hate to say it, but it seems like that seems to be something that a lot of bands kind of maybe lack. I think.
Yeah.
In the beginning, is that they just kind of play everything so straight and right down the middle, and it's like what's the point in kind of expanding your horizon and trying different things.
For sure.
In what whatever creative avenue you're taking, if you don't try absolutely everything, or to a certain degree, right?
It is somewhat experimental, but at the same time too, like our songs aren't like that far out there. There's a lot of melodies and all these different things.
We're not an experimental band I wouldn't label us as experimental musicians.
Okay.
Right.
But I guess the songwriting process, I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that can be experimental for us. Like recently, we've got in the same room, we just kind of wrote a song.
Yeah.
But we've also had like Alex bring in songs as well, for the most part. He brings in ideas, and then we jam them out and stuff like that. So some of the songs we refine, some of them we jam out. It depends on what the song dictates, really.
Okay, cool. Well, I have to say, I do enjoy you guys' music a lot.
Thanks, man.
And I mean, it looks like it's starting to spread in Toronto. You guys got gigs all over the place. What's up next for Low Hanging Lights?
We have an acoustic show coming up at Not My Dog. Little bar Not My Dog. It's at Lansdowne and Queen, I think, and I'm pretty sure that's July 28th. If you go to like our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/lowhanginglights, you'll find all the details of our upcoming shows and stuff. And then after that, we're playing Baltic Avenue, which is at Dufferin and Bloor in late August.
And where can people pick up the EP Insulated Picnic Bag?
People can pick it up on Bandcamp, which is just, I'm sure like a lot of people have heard of Bandcamp, but if you haven't, it's essentially just kind of a website that allows indie bands to upload their music and sell their music for cheap. And you can buy the digital, you can buy it in digital form on there. I think it's like $3 or $4. If not, you can find a physical copy at the show.
Okay, cool.
That's just yeah.
And I wanna end off the interview. I have one of my favorite lines from one of your songs. You guys ready?
Yeah.
And it's gonna lead into a question. So the song is After the Blue Moon.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite line from that song was, I mean, Shauna was a piece of meat. I might as well have walked down to Jilly's down the street. Are you guys sad Jilly's is closing?
Whoa. Jilly's is closing?
Yeah, Jilly's is closing.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't actually like the girls, I just liked the brunch.
Brilliant. All right.
No, I didn't actually know that it was closing. But I used to live at Broadview and Gerrard, so it was literally down the street for me. And Sean is my buddy.
Yeah,
all that stuff is so true.
I was wondering where the inspiration.
That Alex had word for word in that song.
Yeah, pretty much.
Paraphrase.
Yeah, well, I was wondering where the inspiration for that line came, but it was one of my favorite lines.
Well, I wrote that song about my first ever one night stand that I had after a party in the East End. And like coming from a small town, I had a one night stand. And I didn't realize that, so I got her number, and I was like, all right, that's great. We've already had sex, so now I can call her and we can be boyfriend and girlfriend. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that stupid. But that was really fun. I wanted to ask her out on a date or something, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we actually got along, and then I called her and I left a message, and she was like, no. and I realized that, in one night stands, you don't really, you're not supposed to pursue relationships with those people. That's why I said, I had a one night stand, it got out of hand. What's the lyrics? I don't remember. I was a lot younger there. That was at least 2 years younger, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for your time. Thank you for everything, for spending time with me on the phone.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Again, you guys can check out Low Hanging Lights on Bandcamp. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and check out their blog and everything to do with Low Hanging Lights at www.lowhanginglights.com.
Ow! Ow! Ow!